Welcome, everybody. Thank you very much, Opimian members, for joining us. And we'll give a moment. There's Carol. Hello, Carol. And we've got Mauricio Lorca with us here. I'll do a formal introduction in a moment, and just give a few minutes for people to come on board. And I had thought these were supposed to be 20 minutes, and I'm told they're supposed to be half an hour, and there's been some complaints. So I'll try not to end it in 20 minutes. So there you are. I am just freshly back from a vacation. I just got back this morning, so bear with me if I'm a little bit disjointed as usual. Not as usual. See, I'm already doing it. And see. So and I will tell you that we've got Mauricio with us, and I've got a couple of his wines here that I'm going to talk about, and I'm not going to say anything now because he talks about them in such a way that you really get to understand why they are so good. So I'm really looking forward to that. So we are 3 minutes past the hour, wherever you are in the world. And that's the cool thing about doing these on Zoom, is that I'm in Kitchener, Ontario. And Mauricio, are you in Argentina or in Spain right now?
Yes, I am in Mendoza now, in Argentina.
Mendoza.
We are in the harvest time now, Michael. So we are making wine at this time of the year. Yeah.
And I know for certain somebody on this call is in Mexico, and I was able to do these in other places. So I mean, that's really cool. And even though Opimian is a Canadian wine club, it's so universal and so global. It's just a marvelous thing. So Mauricio Lorca, who I've told everybody this 1,000 times, is that he came and visited us. And when I was just an area rep for Opimian, he came to my house and we made Argentinian cheese together. And I've got so much of your wine in my cellar, Mauricio. And what I did want to so Mauricio is now doing two things for us. He's also doing the Argentinian that we've had for so long, but now he's got his own in Spain as well. So we've been carrying a lot of his Spanish wines, and he brings that same incredible winemaking to the Spanish palate. But we're here to talk about Argentina because that's what we're in the middle of now. So Mauricio, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
You are very welcome. Thank you. I'm very happy to be here as always. You know, it's really good.
And you're our cover guy this month.
Yeah.
You know,
well, I am I don't know who to say this, a big celebrity.
That's right. Yeah. That's exactly right. No, it's true.
I'm so glad because that I feel so good because this nomination and to be the cover, you know, of the 5th anniversary is more than I realized, you know, when the people in Opimian say, Mauricio, would you like to see the cover? I say, wow.
Well, maybe not. That was
no.
No, that's great. So and we're here to talk about a couple of the wines specifically, but we do have a full range of your wines in the current cellar. It's cellar 302, and one of them is the feature wine on page 2 and 3. Everybody, is this Grand Malbec, the 2019. Why don't we talk about that first, Mauricio?
Yes, this is the wine that we are going to be talking.
Beautiful.
So something I can tell you about this wine is the first thing is the location of the vineyard. Okay, the location is in the Yuco Valley. This is a vineyard we bought something like 8-9 years ago, and I put the focus to try to buy it because the location of this property. The altitude there, the elevation is about 1,250 meters above sea level. This altitude means a lot because the nights are very, very cold. At day, the temperature is warm. So the ripening is very slow and the accumulation of color flavor is fantastic. Something I found in that vineyard after we bought it, because before that we were making wine from that property, and finally we bought. But when we bought the vineyard, I found 4 blocks at the end of the property, where the Malbec were very, very special. This is because, you know, the experience to walk around the vineyard tasting grape. I always found some vines that where the shoot is the color is red, but very like dark red, you know, and the shoot became black at the end of the season. I always saw, you know, in different vineyards these vines, and when I tasted the grape, I always find something special. So the good news was that we have 4 blocks of that kind of Malbec, because the selection is muscle, it's not a clone, it doesn't have any purity. It's a selection from the Malbec we have in Argentina. So it's like a casualty to have that. At the same time, for me, it was a big surprise because the quality is really, really good. And we are making this wine from 2015 until now. And this was a special design for the future choice, you know, for the customers of Opimian. And it's the natural production in that vineyard is very, very low. It's about 5 tons, no more than 6 tons per hectare. The density vines per hectare is about 5,500, 6,000 vines per hectare. So the production per vine is very, very low, per plant is very low. And of course, the concentration is fantastic. And 100% of the wine is aging in new French, 70%, 30% American oak barrels. Okay, so my idea always is try to combine in between French and American oak to have more complexity. And at the end of the aging, sometimes I can, you know, add something like 5% or 7, maximum 10% of wine without oak, just to balance, you know, the fruits and the oak.
So you don't get hit over the head with the oak, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
You know, but in this case, the concentration is enough to survive. You know, the wine support the aging very well. After these 18 months, we bottle the wine, and then we wait another 2 or 3 years in bottle before we release to the market. Okay, so
let's put that into, Mauricio, I'm going to interrupt you. Let's put that into perspective about the production per hectare. I think you said 5 to 6,000. Or 5 to 6 tons per hectare. What's the average on just a regular wine? Like what would some people be getting?
Well, yes, just for example, for a typical Malbec in that region can be 10, 12 tons.
Right, so double, right?
Exactly. But the thing is, this kind of Malbec, naturally, the production is very low. You know, it's why the quality is so good. Okay.
Right.
We do some interview, but it's very, very low. Only we remove some shoots, some leaf, and it's like we open, you know, the canopy to try to give to the cluster a little more sun, and that's it. Okay. The intervention is very, very low, and in natural the natural production is very low too, and it's the reason why the quality is very nice.
That's terrific. And then you talked a little bit about the bottling process and the typical machinery that you've got that's a little different with
okay.
the oxygenation. Yes.
Yes. Bueno, I remember a few years ago, you know, Jane Master came to Mendoza. That was at least 4 years ago, and she said, Mauricio, tell me why your wines age so good, because normally we taste wine with 5 years, 3 years, 4, 5, 7 years, and the evolution is really, really good. And I explained her that we have a special machine device that during the bottling process measure the level of oxygen. Okay, so we can certify that 100% of our bottles have less than 1 milligram per liter of dissolved oxygen. That means that because the oxygen inside the bottle is very low, the evolution in long term is very, very nice. Okay, it's fantastic. So this is the reason, or one of the reasons. Okay, of course the wine have to have a good concentration, good alcohol, good pH, good acidity. But sometimes if you don't control very well the oxygen during the bottling process, the evolution can be good, but not very good. Okay.
Right. And I think I showed this to you that I'm actually in my glass, I've got some 2013 Tematico that is still drinking awfully well. And that's one of the reasons is the little bit of oxygen that's in the wine when you bottle it. And Laura,
Yes.
go ahead, Mauricio, but Lauren Gill has a question. You've got your hand up, Laura. Do you want to ask it that way, or would you like to type it into the chat, whichever one you prefer? Or maybe Laurel doesn't have her hand up. Okay, so we'll keep going. I can tell you again that this Tematico, which is also in this particular offering, is drinking awfully well. And do you want to tell us a little bit about how that compares to the Poetico? The Tematico and the Poetico, yes.
Well, no, the main difference normally, Michael, is the property of the grape we use for every wine we make. Okay, and normally the Poetico range, the production per hectare is about 7 to 8 ton maximum. Okay, normally the average is 7 ton per hectare. The winemaking process is the normal traditional winemaking for red wines, you know, and the aging is about 12 months. Aging in barrels, 35% new oak, another 30% first use, and another 30% second use. Okay, so that is the idea. And then we bottle the wine and we age in bottle for another 1.5 to 2 years maximum. Okay, so you ask me how compare the Tematico with the Poetico?
Yes.
Okay, so in the Poetico we use grape from Vista Flores, and in the Tematico we use grape from Vista Flores. With the altitude is a little lower than Los Árboles, and the Poetico is 100% Los Árboles. Okay, is the main difference is the origin of the grape.
Okay. No, that's great. And I also have some of the Poetico in my glasses. I've got the cap, so
let me show you. Let me show you, because the presentation of the Poetico this is the new one. Okay, so this new selection is going with this new label. Okay. So it's I think it's more clear. You can see easy the grape, the year, and and there is a color in the top of the label. You can recognize very clear the grape. So this is the new presentation you are going to have this year. Okay.
Wonderful, wonderful. And do you want to do a tasting for us of one of those two that you have in your hand, and just talk about what you're?
I was tasting now the Malbec, which is this one, and just to let you know, well, again, the location of the vineyard is in Los Árboles, 1,250 meters above sea level. The soil there is very poor, more sandy and stone than clay, for example. So the production again is limited, and what you will find in this wine is good concentration, good color, the typical character of the Malbec with the mint, some black fruit is typical to have it, some red fruit too, and it's a perfect wine to pair with beef in general, and then pasta. I like the Malbec with some of the pasta, like with bolognese sauce or something like that.
I'm just reading Stanley Tucci's book called Taste, and it's got a perfect recipe for bolognese. So I'm going to do that one, have some of your Poetico with that. So it should be great.
You will love it. You will love
Yeah.
it.
And if anybody has any questions for Mauricio while you're here, just type them into the chat. We're happy to ask him. And we've got a full line of Mauricio's wines. The Zapam Zukum, I think Kim Chen, you said you've got some of that right there. And I can tell you, Mauricio, that I had two cases.
Is our organic one. Sorry.
I had two cases of it, and it's all gone, so I had nothing to show you. so I have to reorder. Oh darn! That's I'll put it down in the cellar as well. And
I think, Michael, there is a wine that is going this year, which is the Mauricio Lorca Natural. Look at it in the list. I think I don't remember the number, the code of that wine, but it's that is something very special. Okay.
Go ahead. Talk
Let's
about
see
it
if you
a bit.
have there in the list the one. I probably have here. I can tell you.
Yeah, and we'll leave that to Kim Chen. You just tell us more about your natural wine. Yeah.
Yes, the natural. Let me see. I have the list here.
Mauricio, it's lot 3963.
Yeah. Okay. So that wine is the first year we made it. Okay. It's quite special because it's 100% no sulfate.
No sulfate at all. Yes, no sulfites. Wow.
Exactly, no sulfites. Okay, 100%. So this is when we studied the project, the idea was to use all the natural, how to say this, conservant. Is okay to say, Michael? The natural conservant that the wine. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, and that's what I was going to ask you. Actually, is how do you conserve it? How do you do it then?
It's naturally because the wine has alcohol, acidity, pH, polyphenols and color. So all those components preserve the wine naturally. Okay. So what we did was to choose the best grape of the vineyard. We protect the grape so much with carbonic, nitrogen, gas, trying to not oxidate the grape. And then we made the fermentation. After fermentation, we just rack the wine from the skin, and the wine, we cold the wine, after fermentation. So there was a big precipitation, so the wine clarified itself, Wow. After that, we passed the wine for the cross filter, which is a new technology, so nice, in terms of quality. And then we bottle the wine very young, okay? And the idea is to protect the wine. The wine can protect itself if you do everything fast. Okay, so the wine doesn't have any sulfates, and the quality is fantastic. That is a special product. In fact, we made it something like 6,000, 7,000 bottles this year, last year, sorry, and it's sold out. Okay, we have some bottle for the Opimian, and the rest of the bottle were selling so fast because every single customer that tasted the wine loved it. Okay, so it's new, and it's something. I think it's the future. It's the way where we are.
I was going to say that I think that there's a future in that, right? And sulfites have been related to all sorts of things in the wine industry, and I'm really fascinated by the fact that you can do that, and you would still find that you could bottle these and cellar them, and still you're very comfortable that they're going to be protected. They're protecting themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the most important, Michael, in this case, more than any wine, is the quality of the grape. The concentration have to be fantastic. It's the only way to conserve the wine properly for a long time. And the aging of the wine is probably 95% in bottle. Okay, it's not in tank, in barrel, nothing. It's in bottle.
So you have less exposure to things that could make it go wrong, right? It's kind of
Exactly.
the idea.
Exactly.
Yes. Right.
The best place where the wine can be is in the bottle.
Right. And you know, Cab Franc is one of my favorite grapes, and you've done the Cab Franc, and it's Cab Franc forward,
Malbec.
but with some Malbec there to give it some more oomph, just a little more body. Is that what you do?
Yes, the thing was to combine two grapes that are becoming very famous in Argentina. The Malbec is already famous, and the Cabernet Franc is becoming. And the combination is really good because there is complexity, body, the sweetness character of the Malbec is always good, but the fresher, the concentration, and the tannin of the Cabernet Franc is nice too. So it's a nice combination between two grapes, very different.
Very good. And I'd like to, it seems we've got some time here, and I wanted to come back to the Grand Malbec. Again, that's on page 2 and 3, lot 3949 for those of you who are following along. And I see that it won a silver medal on the Global Malbec Masters, and I think it's pretty simple to say that you are a Malbec master, no question, and and to win silver awards, and you know, people will say that lots of wines have won awards, but the drinks business, I think people in the business, when they give you an award like this, it really means something, right? Because we're tasting wines and drinking so many different wines, and to get an award from the people that sell wine, I think is pretty special.
Well, this was another surprise for me this year, January, because those guys were tasting my wine for the last 3-4 years, I think, more or less. All this year we were they gave us something like gold medal, silver medal, you know, constantly every year. And finally, they choose me as one of the top 100 winemakers of the world. And for South America, there is another winemaker in Chile, and only me in Argentina. So it means a lot for me. It was fantastic. And the result was just because the quality of the wine, they are very objective. In fact, I didn't know that we were sending samples to them. You know, Cecilia, which is the export manager, was sending all this year the samples. I didn't know that. So finally, when she said, Mauricio, you are the top 100 winemaker in master wine in UK. I said, what is that? I don't know them. No, we were sending samples all this time, but what is that? So, you know, for me it was a big surprise. And finally, well, it's a great recognition, but it's not only me, you know, behind me there is a big team, you know, that every day work hard to be sure that our quality constantly is very good. So it's for everybody here in the company, you know, in the winery.
Yeah, well, I don't mind saying that you've become one of the top partners of Opimian. We just love working with you, and I mean the wines are always of such quality, and as I say, I've got so much in my cellar alone, and have to replenish so much of it now that it's been drunk this week.
Thank you very much.
So really appreciate it. And you know, I'm going to the Galapagos in April, and now I can't get to Peru, so I just might fly over to Argentina and see you. So
okay, good, great.
Yeah.
If you come
and see you.
I can show you my house here. You know, where we made the wine, where we are. You can see the vineyard where, you know, in my philosophy, in our philosophy here, 90% of the wine is making in the vineyard, okay? Yes. We design the wine there, and then in the winery, what we do is just to try to be sure that we are not doing something wrong, because the nature here in Mendoza, which is fantastic, gave us normally wonderful quality grapes. So we have to try to preserve that. That's it.
No, it's marvelous. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Mauricio. Thank you, David Markovich, our head of marketing, is with us today, and Kim Chen for running the board. Thank you for marketing, drinking Lorca wines all. Thanks all for joining us, and we'll see you again on the next one. Cheers, everybody. Oh yeah, cheers. Wait a second here.